get started with creation of databases. Can anyone give me a syntax or command how to create a database?
Create name of the database.
Directly name of the database. Now we are doing Amazon. Let's take Amazon.
Create.
Now will it work?
No. Create database and the name.
Okay. Create database and Amazon. Okay. Now we created our database. Okay. Now in SQL there is something called as whenever you write any particular query or whenever you write a particular syntax. Now whatever the commands you are giving to from the SQL to DB or MySQL, those are called as syntax. Okay. For those who are freshers, for who don't know any SQL, I'm just trying to explain. So what are the commands are you giving, right? These are predefined commands. Okay. We can't go and change this command. These are like keywords which we have to use to do this particular set of things. Okay. Now, to whatever you give this create database, now you need to identify. Now you are saying create database, but you know that this creates a database, but there might be a person who don't know what this command is doing. Now to indicate that, we have to write this as a comments. Okay. What do you mean by comments, guys? Anyone?
Giving the explanation of the particular line of syntax or code.
Now it says whatever the comment we will be indicating in MySQL, we'll just pass as a hash symbol and say this will create a database. Okay. Now, whatever the comments you are passing, this will not be executed. Okay. Now, as soon as you create anything here, when you say create database, there is an output dialog box that shows whatever your command you are running, it is successful or not. And it shows a green tick mark. That means this is created. This is whatever the command you have given. There is no issues with this command, and this has been created. Now, when I run along with this, now if I run again this same command, what will happen, guys? Will it create another Amazon DB SQL database? If I run the same command, I already created a database and it says create database, it is affected and already we have created a database. And when I refresh it, you see there is already Amazon DB as a database. Now again, I'm going to run the same command.
They already exist.
Okay. So it throws an error, say cannot create a database since Amazon DB database already exists. So what it indicates that, so whatever the database you are going to create, all should be unique. Okay. You can't have the same database, n number of database, different database. Now the same thing, I'll say it as Amazon DB /_1. Now if I run this, it will be created because these are not the same. They are not identical to each other. Now this is a separate database and this is the separate database. Okay. Now whenever you try to create any database, that should be always unique. And any objects that you create under the databases or any object you create, that should be also unique. We can't have the same two number of databases, same two number of tables, same two number of views, storage. You have to define that unique key and so that it can be identified easily. Okay. Now you have created a database. Now I need to know which is the database I'm currently using. I need to know currently using database. Okay. Now I just say select database. I give this and I find when I run this, it shows me what is my correct database. Now I have not selected any database. Okay. That's the reason it says null. Okay. It says you have not selected any database. Please select any particular database. Okay. Now, whenever you run a command and it gives any output values, it shows here. Now, there will be another dialog box and it is showing your results here. Okay. This is whatever you are doing and what is it successful or not successful, it will show that. And for this particular commands, whatever the output you are getting, it will be showing here. Okay. Now, you are saying select database. Now, what happens? Now, I need to you select particular database and you need to use that. Now, what is the command to do that? Anyone?
Use database name.
Database name. Okay, that's great. Let's take Amazon DB. Select or use. Okay. When you say use database, it will go into the database and you can see here, okay, in schemas, you can see that the database which are using is being highlighted. That means you are into this particular database now. And when you again say select database, now it will show you are into Amazon DB. Now, whatever you are going to write the piece of code, everything will be written in this particular database. Okay. Now, there was a requirement, whenever you create a database, there was a particular naming convention you had to use. and now you just created a database, and your manager comes and says, okay, you have created an Amazon DB, but it should have been named as something called as Amazon database. You are not going to use Amazon DB. We have to use this naming convention. Now, what we will be doing? Can we rename the database?
No, we should drop it and then name it again.
Okay. Now, what happens when we drop the database? If this is a new database and we have not created any object inside the database, and all that's fine. Okay. And if you have a database and you have n number of column, n number of tables, like for example, you have hundreds of tables that's being used by the company. And if you just go and drop the database and recreate again saying create database, will those all objects will come back?
No.
No, right? So that's the reason we have to be very careful whenever we'll be using this drop database. Now, as soon as you say drop database, that particular database is not there. Okay, you see, we can't see that particular database. Now, again, if you want to say Amazon DB and say go and create this Amazon database, and again you have to go and create, and if there are any particular objects that are there, that will not be there. For example, let me give this. Okay, let me say anything I can find for you. Okay, in this particular KSR project, you see there is one table. Okay, now I say let me go and say I'll say go and drop this project KSR. Okay, now as soon as I give this, and it's gone. Okay, now again I go and say let me create this particular command. Okay, now I say go and create database. Okay, here are that. But when you expand this, that particular table, the one table which was there, that was not. So that's the reason whenever you go to any company, if you are fresher, you are a senior folk, any folk, you will be not given any access for this. To drop. Okay. Now, how that will be done, we will be seeing that in the future classes where we'll be seeing how to give the grant access and all. We'll be seeing that, but only thing you will be not even given opportunity to create a database, that the database will already created and you need to make use of current database, whatever the database will be there. So as a developer, you'll be only working on creation of tables, views, store procedure, or functions. Okay, these you'll be having privileges to do this, but you will not be having privileges to create a database or drop a database. Only you'll be having privileges to use the data.
Then who will develop that one, sir? Create database and drop
Yep.
database?
These all things will be taken care by admin or senior more folks. So as soon as your project starts, right, you'll be having a manager or super manager, super admin who based on their business requirements, they will see which all things, what are the naming convention we have, what are the database we require. They will take care and they do, and they already do that. And they say, this is the database we are having. You need to know, you need to work whatever you want in this particular database. Okay, because this is the highest level of object in the any table, and they can't mess this, right?
Got
Did
it,
I
sir.
answer your question? Okay, fine. Now, apart from this, we did go through, we did see something else. Okay, what was that? We saw commands in MySQL. Okay, what are the commands we saw in MySQL?
Data definition language.
You can say
DDL.
okay, DDL.
DML.
Okay, DML.
DQL.
DQL.
TCL.
DCL.
And then TCL.
Okay. So we got started with something called as data definition language. Okay. Now, for today's class, we'll try to see these two things. Okay. What is this DML?
Data manipulation.
Manipulation language. Okay. Now another even this. What is the DQL?
Data
Data
query language.
query language. Okay. Now we'll be getting started with these three commands. For now, don't worry about these two things. We'll just remove it. Okay. For any as a developer or anything, these are the three main commands we need to take care. Okay. Now, what you mean by definition? Now, what we'll be doing in definition? Can anyone answer this? We did discuss this, right? What do you mean by DDL? What does this data definition language?
It defines the language.
Defines the language? Are you sure?
Don't know, just
Okay, no worries. So that's the reason we will be starting with basics. So don't worry, guys. Okay. Now, whatever the data definition language is doing, it is not whatever it is doing, it is defining or modifying your structure. Okay. Now, what is structure? Okay. Now, let me take a Excel sheet quickly. Okay. Now, whatever we have done here. This is nothing but a Amazon DB database. DB. This is an Amazon DB database. Now you created a database, it is created a structure for you, right? Now this is nothing but whatever the objects you are creating, that's called as a structure. Now you want to create a table. Now let's see, we will create our first table, something called as Amazon products. Okay. For that, we'll see PID. PID is nothing but product ID. We'll say product name. Then we are going to say category, which category it belongs. And let's say price. Okay, we have a price. Now, another will say, let's say one more thing will say stocks. Okay, whatever the stocks we are having, we have. Now we have created let's assume we have created our first table. Okay, you created a table, the table name is nothing but Amazon products. Now, you are giving all the commands to create this structure, right? Now that structure is nothing, whatever the structure you are creating, all these commands will come into something called as DDL. DDL is nothing but what all the structures or anything, whatever the modification you do, what all things you do for the particular objects, that all things have been defined using DDL. DDL, what it does, it defines your objects like database, table, view, schema, anything. And it will, whenever you create this, it will be automatically committed. Committed means it is permanently there in your object. Okay. Once you create that, you cannot go back. If you need to roll back, you have to just drop that. Okay. We saw how to drop the database, right? Now it is already created. Now, if you want to remove that, you will be dropping that particular object. Okay, all these things, whatever the structure, we are not worrying about the data. There might be a data inside this particular structure. We are not worrying about that. We are just worrying about how to define a particular table, how to define a particular database. Now, those all things will come under DDL. Now you have created this particular database, and you need to again say, I need to add particular column, say company for this. Now, what all companies you need to add? Now again, you are adding one more company. Now what you are doing, you are altering the database. Now to create, we have one command called as a create. Now you made use of create and you created a database. Now you need to alter it. Now so for that we have another command. We say whatever the existing structure is there, you just don't remove it. You just alter that particular structure and add anything. Now in this alter, you can say you will be adding another columns. If you don't want, this column is already there. Now I don't want this. Now I need to delete this. Sorry. Now I need to delete this. So I'll be deleting this. Okay. You will be removing this. Now you can completely, okay, delete it. Now if you want to delete, again, you will alter the current structure and delete it. now you have particular for this data types. What is data types? We'll have one particular class for that. Now for now you just say data types is nothing but what kind of data you are storing in particular column. It defines that. Now you said you have defined this in this particular columns. You need to enter only the numbers. Okay, for that this is the particular data types you have defined that. This is a data type, we need to enter this particular numbers. But there might be requirement came where now you are indicating your PID like 111, 101, 102 like this. Now there might requirement come and say P102. Now can this consider as a number? Can this be considered as a number? Anyone? What's the difference between these two? These two type of data.
It contains character and the number.
Yep, exactly. So since this connect have a character, you can't define this as a number. So if you want to, now you already have 101, 102. You need not to remove that. I just need to say whatever the further items you are inserting in this particular table, I need it has a character. So what you will be doing, you need to alter. So for that also you will be altering. And again, you need to drop completely. We saw what is drop, right? You will be doing. And you'll be using DDL commands. And there is another command called as a truncate. And what is this truncate? We will see after we'll be checking with delete command. Okay, now for now you park this. Any doubt in this, guys? Shall we go and create our first database? First table?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Now, create a table. Now, to create any table, there is particular syntax we have to follow. Okay, syntax is nothing but these predefined rules that is given by MySQL or any other databases saying these are particular number of queries or code you have to make use to create any objects. Okay, now you say just a create table name Amazon _ DB. Okay, now whenever you are going to create anything and you need to add the structure, you'll be keeping that under a parenthesis. Parenthesis is nothing but this bracket. Okay. Now, what is this? We'll understand. Okay. Now, you are saying you have to create a data table. Okay. You said create table name. Now, inside that we need to add these columns. We need to add this particular column name. Okay. Now let's copy this and paste it here. Now, what we are having here, let me rearrange it. Now, you're saying in this particular table, you give this particular set of columns. Okay. Now, you have given this particular set of columns. After that, you say, now we saw that, right? In this particular column, we need to define what kind of data that need to be entered. Okay. Now, if you want to define any numbers that need to be entered, there is a particular set of data type that is called as int. Now, what is this int? Sorry, anyone having doubt?
It will have
Integer.
that numbers.
Yep. Whatever, if you are trying to insert any numbers, we'll say it as int. Okay. Now, what are these data types? What are different types of data types? We'll be having separate session for that. Don't worry for that. Now, just understand how to create a data table or how to create all the insert the data inside the table. We'll just see that. Okay. Now we are saying for this particular column, you need to have something called as integer. Okay. Now, for any product name, is the product name will be having characters, right? We need to indicate that using something called as a data types that will be using that is called as varchar. Now, any strings or any characters we are indicating in the database, now that is defined using something called as a data type called as varchar. If someone is on mute, can you please go on mute? Okay, thank you. So that is being defined as varchar. Okay. Now again, category is been saying this is an electronics item, this is a clothing item. Again, you are defining using it as a character. So what we can say that is nothing but character. Okay. Now, price. Okay. In your school days, have you worked with this number system saying decimals, What are the decimals? Have you ever worked? Remember?
I think
Are you
we
asking
used
the types?
No. What decimals are usually indicating? Okay. What kind of if numbers versus decimal? Okay. Numbers and decimal. What's the difference between this? In our max classes, we have
Yeah,
seen
it
this,
will be
right?
divisible by, it will be a whole number, like
Yeah,
1,
whole
2,
number like
3.
1, 2, 3. So we'll be having like this, right? Whereas in decimals, we'll be having something called as what?
1.02.
1.02 or 03, 1.20, 2.40, like this. Now, any price, whatever you are indicating, how they usually say. They'll say for your particular item, if they want to indicate they won't say 100 rupees. They say like 99.9 rupees. Is that means they are going to give you 1 paisa back? No, right?
No.
So they're indicating that in this particular decimal. So just to play with your psychology. In the same way, in the prices, if you want to define anything in the database or any table, we say it has decimal. Okay. Spelling mistake. Let me see. Decimal, and I say something called as 10 comma 2. Now, what is this 10 comma 2? You're saying your first digit, whatever you're having, you can place up to 10 characters, and the second digit round off to 2 digits. Okay. Now you're saying 10 comma 2. Now, what are stocks? Stocks are again quantities. You can't have that in decimal. So that you say something called as integer. Okay. Now we created our first table, but still you see there's an X mark showing. So what you're saying Amazon, sorry, it says table, right? The Amazon table. You're saying Amazon product has a table, and you're saying these are my columns, but I'm not able to understand. Is this all as one line you are saying, or is it a separate? To make these columns as separate, we have to make use of comma. Now, as soon as you give a comma, it thinks, okay, this is a separate column, this is a separate column. Now, again, you can give your comma one more time, and you have comma, and you have comma. Okay. Now, still, well, since you give a comma, you see there is a X mark between 24 and 25 line. Why that is happening? So it says whenever you define a character, varchar, you should define how much length, number of words or characters that should be there in this particular product. Now you say, if you give, say, for particular this column, you have 250. Now what this 250 indicates, now you can have 250 letters for this particular column. Okay, whatever the name you're defining, whatever the data you're entering, that can be up to 250. Now, how this works and all, we'll see in the upcoming class. For now, just understand how to define a varchar. Okay, now we saw again 250. Now, as soon as you do, now you have created your first table. Now, to execute this, you have to just you have to scroll from here up to the top and just say, click on this mark, and okay, let's see, it says an error. Oh, no database is selected. Let's select the database. What's the database name we gave? Let's use this KB1. Okay. It says we are not selected the database. Now, first we selected our database and what we are running. Okay. Now, again, it says you have an error. Check the manual constraints. Let me check this.
you are not selected the table, sir. Table name, create
Oh,
table Amazon.
sorry for that. Okay. Now, as soon as you created your database, it says, okay, now you can see here, it says database is created. Now you have created your database, but I need to see what is my structure. Okay, it's already there. Now, as soon as you refresh, you can go here and click your your table is there. Now, whatever the information you require for this particular tables, that is there. Now, these are the columns for this particular table. Okay, now, as soon as you say you have created this table, now I need to see what is there in this particular table. For that, you use another command called as select. Now, what is select? Select comes under a command which is called as DQL. Now, DQL is nothing but query. What is query? You are saying whatever the items you are having, you are saying I'm querying and I'm trying to fetch that item. So for that, we say it is a query. Okay, queries are nothing but you are trying to fetch the item. Syntaxes are nothing but you are creating a item. Okay. No, these are syntaxes are predefined, whereas queries you are writing manually to fetch all the information about the data. Okay. Now you are giving a query and you are trying to fetch. Now what you say is select star. Now what is star? Don't worry, just say. Now select from table. Okay. What's your table name? Your table name is Amazon product one. Now you're saying and you're saying and you say, this is what my table, and you just select this and run. As soon as you run, you see something here. Okay. Now your structure is created. Okay. You have created your structure and you can see all the data, whatever you created, what are the columns you have created that has already populated here. Now, in MySQL, whenever you try to run each command, right? Once your command is ended, that should be given with a semicolon. It indicates that this is a particular command that ends here, so that these two particular commands are not interconnected. Okay, that's the reason we have to give semicolon. Now, for reading purpose, I have written these particular columns in different lines. But you can do write all this in one particular line also. Because SQL doesn't follow any indentation or anything, any coding standards has that of whatever we have in Java, Python, or anything. Okay, it's just like a plain English where you are saying these are the commands we are giving and it understands. Okay, now I have one more question for you. Okay, now you have created your table now. Okay, now if we run the same table again, what it will what will be the issue? The same command. Now already I have created the particular table. Okay. Now again I'm going to say run this particular command. Will it create another table?
No.
No, right? Again it will throw an error saying that this table already exists. So this shows that we can have only one identical naming convention for all the objects. You can't create a same table again and again with the same name. Any doubts so far, guys? Who are new to SQL? Are you able to understand this? Okay. Now let's move ahead. Now we have created a table. Now we need to add the data, right? Okay. Now to add a data, let's take some product and say iPhone. Let's say category as electronics and price, let us say 60,000. And say stock, Amazon has one stock for this. We have one data. Now we will take another and we will say earphone. Let's say this is also electric and say 3,000 and say we have two stocks for this. Now you have a data, you have already data, now you have structure, now you need to insert a data, you need to manipulate a data. For that, we have commands called as DML. Okay. Now we have few commands that are mainly used to play around with the data. Okay. Now, if we need to add any particular command in the table, we use something called as insert command. Okay. We make use of insert command and we say, okay, this is the data we need to add this in particular table. You add for this particular table. Okay. Now, as soon as you insert this command, if there are any cases where, for example, you have a price as 60,000. Now, iPhone comes and say we need to update this as 50,000. We are giving a discount, so you please update it to 50,000. Now, for that, there is another command called as a update command. You're just updating the existing data. You are not entering a new value. You're just updating that. Okay. Now, next command is delete command. Okay, now iPhones. Now you are saying iPhone 11. Now, do you ever see iPhone 11 in the any sale, guys? Now this is a very old stock, right? Now, the Apple company doesn't even produce this product anymore. They say we are out of stock. We don't want to have this particular sale in Amazon. So you just delete that particular record. We are not going to use this. So, okay, at that time you use something called as delete. Okay, these are the three main commands which will be using to mainly work with manipulation of data. Any doubts in DML commands? Okay, now let's go and insert our first data. Okay, we'll say inserting the data into table. Okay. Now, just give me a minute. Okay. We say to insert, we are using what? Insert. Insert into whatever our table name. Okay. Now, let me copy this and paste it. Now we are saying insert into this particular table. Okay. We are saying in this table we are inserting something, and what we are inserting? We are inserting the values. We say insert this into this table and values, and whatever the values we need, that is first one is 101. Let's say, let's take our data. Okay. This is our data. Let's take, this is our data. Okay, I'll paste it here. Now let's make it as 101. So just for identification. Now 101, and I say I have, let me take this as iPhone 15. Now I have this particular data. Let me take this one. Okay. And insert here. Now I have added that particular data in this particular line, and I say that again, the table the command need to understand, right? Is it dependent or independent? For that, we will be again giving a comma between all the data, saying that these are not dependent on each other. Okay. Now, as soon as you do, what happens is if you run this particular command, it will give an error, because whenever you are inserting any data that is there in string or character, you need to put that in something called as colon. Either it be a single of a column, or you can give as double. Okay, like this you can pass. Now you can pass it as a single, you can pass it as double, but you can't do this. Okay, if you do this, it will throw an error. Okay, you can't indicate one is one colon and another is double quotes. Okay, it should be either one single quotes, it should be either double quotes. Now as soon as you run this particular command, now what it says, one row is affected. Now we have added this data into this particular table. Sorry, someone is muted. Any doubts, guys? Okay. Now we added a data into a particular table, and when we run, we see the data. Now, have you ever given a column name here? So how this particular data is going? Okay. Now let's see that. Now you're saying insert into this table and you're giving value. Now what it says, whenever it has a structure, now table, SQL know this structure. Now you're passing all the values. It says, now this might be the first column, it goes and insert into the first column. This is the second column, it goes and insert into the second. And this is third, and this is fourth, and this is fifth. Okay. Now it is following, it's following like first come, first serve. Whatever your data you are giving first will go and insert. Now, if I go and give iPhone first, what it will happen? It's the same thing. If I'm giving like this, will it take, guys? When I execute it throws an error, because we saw that, right? We defined this particular column should be an integer. Okay, it says with this particular column should be integer. Now we are passing a character. Okay, that's why it throws an error saying that PID is having this cannot be an integer. Okay, the SQL give commands. Whatever the errors you are getting, now in your real time also, who are new to SQL or any MySQL or database, these are the commands you need to debug. These are called errors. They are saying error. This is a wrong thing you are doing. Go and check and correct yourself. Now you need to correct this, and you say you are going to correct. Now, for example, I just say instead of here, I am going to pass it here. Okay. Now, will this give an error? An error means it is executing. But what's the issue between this and this?
Here the data type changes, so it throws error. But here for the category and the above variable, the product name, both belongs to the data type var char.
You
Okay.
did a shuffle, sir.
Yep, exactly. So now you see that you inserted the data here. Now it is you are saying this particular column is character. It is also character. It understood, okay, this is character, so data types is a character, so I don't have any issues with the data type. But what are you doing? You are saying your product name, that is electric. Now, is the product name any electric and category is iPhone 15? Is it a correct way? No, right?
No.
So whenever you are inserting anything into the table, you need to always make sure you are adding the correct data. Okay. Now, for example, your manager comes and say, this is the way we are getting in our Excel sheet. Now we'll be having some set of sheet, and we need to insert, or they have given you 10 to 15 hundreds of data, and will you go and change for every data and swap it and then insert it? No, right? So at that time, there is another way to write a command. Okay, we say insert into, we follow again same things. Okay, now before giving values, we have something in bracket. Okay, now let me take the same item here. I paste it here. This time I say electronic 2 and I say 14 instead of 14, and I say it is 50,000. Okay. Now, what we are going to do here? Now, inside this, we are going to add our columns. Okay. Whatever the columns we have what PID. Now, we are saying this first, whatever the data is there that belongs to PID. Okay. Now, whatever the next second data, that is nothing but you are saying that belongs to category. Okay. The next data, whatever you are having, that belongs to product name. And the next data is price, and then we have stocks. Okay. Now, instead of passing it as manually and saying for database or MySQL to understand this, you are saying, no, this is the way I'm passing my column names. Now you need to go and insert this data. Now, as soon as you run this command, okay, the non field price, okay, I missed the comma. Okay. As soon as you run this particular command, and when you go and select this, now where is the product? What is the product name, guys? Now what I passed, it as electronics, but it went and placed into a product. Okay, you need there are two ways to insert a data into a table. One, that when you have a data in a correct sequence value, you can directly go and insert using the values. If that is not there in a along with a structure what I have defined, and it is shuffled, data is shuffled, you need to pass which column need to pass which value. Okay, and you need to insert your data. Are we good? Any doubts for new to SQL?
No, sir. Everything is good.
Oh, sure. Now, let's take another example here. Now, I am making this copy paste, but who are new to SQL, please don't do this copy paste. Please write this syntax, write this command, and practice it. Okay, this is a foundation. Next to 2 to 3 days will be the foundation classes. So you need to make sure that this foundation is strong, and then once advanced topic will come, you need to be very good in this. Okay, now I'll say, now what happens is, now as I said, the company comes and say, iPhone company says, my all iPhones have been sold out. Now I don't have any iPhones. I don't want to insert that into a database. Now you please remove that from your table. Okay. Now you are removing that, and the value with respect to that is also removed. Okay. Now, what happens if I run this command? Now what it says, column
Yeah, sir.
count does not match. Why? Why is saying column count does not match? I'm saying, see, these are my values. You can go and add, right? Now, as I said, this particular command, whatever you are giving, it always follow first come first serve. Yes, it always go and check. Okay, 101 is one for this. My electronics is this, and next might be one. But these two columns data is not there. I don't know what to add this. Right. So at that time, it will throw you an error. Okay. Now, if you want to add this something, now what we'll say, something has null, comma, again, category is that and price is null. What is this null? Don't worry, guys. We will again understand. For now, you understand what is null is nothing, but it doesn't have any meaning. It doesn't have value. It just is not even an empty space. It doesn't have any value. You just need to keep it as null. Okay. When I execute this particular command, now it says success, and let's see what is the data. Now, wherever there is a product name, which is we don't have any data, it says go and add a null. Okay, you can do this way, or we can also do another way, that is nothing but this one. Copy this. You say I don't whatever you're saying product name, right? I don't have any product name in my this. I don't have any price. Okay. Now let me remove this. Now, when you run this particular command, it will be inserting, and now it automatically gives that null. Now it knows. Now you are saying for from MySQL to this particular table to database. No, I have only this particular columns data, so I am entering this. But please make sure that other data, whatever I don't have, you make it that's unknown. Okay, I don't know what is the value, what is there, so you make it unknown and you add it as null. So that's the reason you are able to see this data as null. Any doubts, guys?
So could you please explain it again, sir?
Okay, sure. So what happened? Let me take again. Now you are inserting your data. Okay, you're saying insert data in this table, and let me say this has 1 or 2, and this is electronics. Okay, and have stock as 0. Okay, now you're saying you have in your whenever you have a out of sales stock, everything, there is no stocks inside your inside the Amazon DB or Amazon table. The company comes and say you remove this particular item, that I don't need to show that the consumer. Okay, now whenever if you need to enter only the values for now, and you are going to enter that particular value, and they say now there is a one particular ID. I don't know what is the product name for that, but that belongs to electronics. Now for this particular item, we'll say now it has 0. Now that particular company may come and say tomorrow, they may come and say, okay, for this particular ID 102, you make it since it's an electronic product, we can release it as iPhone 14, and we have one stock. We can enter that data tomorrow. But for now, you insert this particular data and you keep in your database. Okay, the company comes and say this. Now, when as a developer, whenever you're going and inserting this particular data, now what SQL is saying, you just say insert into this table and you're giving values. What SQL is thinking, whatever the first column value you're entering, that belongs to PID. Whatever the second value you're entering, that belongs to product name. Third entry, that might belongs to category. Okay. Now, price and stock, that doesn't know what to keep. What is the value for this? Should I keep null? What value I need to add? So that's the reason it doesn't know what to do. So as soon as you run this particular command, it will throw you an error saying that I have total five number of columns in my table, but you are entering only 3 columns data. Please enter all other columns. Okay. For that, you can say either you can say for anything like category or product name. Since product name we don't have, you can say you enter that as a null. You make it as unknown. Null is nothing but unknown. That's an unknown value. For now, you make it as unknown, and for price also you make it as null, unknown. Okay. Now in next, I may come and insert that data. Okay. Wherever there is null for 102, if there is null, I can go and insert or update that particular data for product name. Okay. If I stock in the future, but for now, you keep it as null. So when you insert this, now that goes as a developer and that goes into a table, and that is being inserted. Okay. Now it says 102 for this particular row. I don't know for now what is this product name, for what is the price of this product. Whenever in future, if you are going to add for this 102 ID, then I will be updating that for this particular product. Okay. Now you can insert that same way using this column. Okay. You just say wherever there is a PID, you add it as 102. And wherever there is a category, you make it as electronics. And you make it as 0. Stop. Now using this command, what you are saying, for this particular column, you are inserting this. Okay. So that's the reason now SQL is able to understand, okay, this is the values is for this particular column is inserting. So I'll go and keep others as unknown. So that's the reason it will just add as null. Did you understand now?
Yeah, got it, sir.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Now, so far, now I'll give a condition. Okay. Now we are inserting all these records. How we are inserting? Are we inserting one record at a time? Huh? We are in whatever the records we are inserting, it's like one record at a time, right? Now, in Amazon, there are 1 million records that need to be inserted. Will you go and write this particular command for each and 1 million records? Insert into table, PID, character, product name, price, stock, values, and this is my 101 and up to 1 million. Will you repeat the same thing? Can we do this?
No.
It's unnecessary entry of lines, right? It's unnecessary work. For that, what you can do, there is another way that is nothing but, again, you'll do the same thing. Let's take this. Okay. Now, again, I'm saying I'm doing copy paste. You should not do copy paste who are new to SQL. Okay. Now, let me enter this. Okay. Now I say this is my first record. You said this is insert into this table. Now this is 101, 101 iPhone electric 60,001. This is my first record you are inserting into table. Now again I say you insert one more record in the same way. You go and insert 103. Make it as iPhone 12 now. Make it as 40,000. You go and insert another record. That is 104. Now this is another unique record. Now for now, we'll go and say, now I don't want iPhone. No, I want earphone. And I say, like, make it as 4,000. Now I say another record, you insert. Now for now, let's say that is a 105. Now this time we'll say some t-shirt. And we'll say that is a clothing. Okay. And we say this has 10 number of values. Okay. Now you have given this. Now what is the character we need to pass to say that for SQL, hey SQL, these are not an individual record, these are separate records. Now we have seen that in tables, we have seen that in column. Now what we'll be doing, what the character that I need to say these are all different records. Can anyone answer? Comma, exactly. Okay. Now what you are saying, after every record you say this is separate record, this is separate record, this is separate record, and this is separate. And this is my end of statement, and this is it. Now what again here what it is doing, now you are not passing any column names, so it is doing what, it is doing one-to-one matching. It says all the first values which is there, it will go row by row. It will take the first row and it will match with the columns. Okay, this is my first insert, let me insert this. It will insert for all the columns. Okay, now it will go again next row, it will insert. It will go next row, again it will match all the columns, and it will. As soon as you run this, what it will happen, 4 rows are affected. Why? Because you are inserting 4 rows. Now 4 rows have been added. Okay. Now as soon as you do that and you say select star, how to read? Select star from table name, and as soon as you pass that, you're going to see something called as all the data. 101, 103, 104, 105 has been inserted. Any doubts how to pass multiple columns, multiple records?
Should we have to add that comma on the left side only, or we can add in the right side?
Anyway, you can add here also. That doesn't
Okay.
that doesn't affect. Okay, you just need to say between these two records, comma should be there. Now, why I added here is we'll understand it's a way to understand as soon as you start any line, this is separate to this. Sometimes we miss at the end if there are n number of records, right? If there are 250 columns and it is at the end, and we might miss that comma, right? If we add at the start only, we'll understand, okay, this is separated. That's the reason we usually whenever we'll be inserting, we'll do it at start, but you can do it at the end also.
Okay, done.
Okay, now the same thing, if I copy here, I say I'll not add this value. Now, will it insert? Whenever I run, it says again, column does not match. So to do this, again, the same thing. So what we have done, we're taking this and we'll just replace it. Okay, we say, okay, I missed values, right? Okay, we are saying now we are giving the structure, and for this particular structure you are inserting, and the last two records you have not entered any value. So now SQL will understand that and it will make it as null. Okay, now for example, let us pass the first value. Okay, and we are saying the first value is that, and next value we don't know. So that's the reason we have passed only three records. Now also the SQL will be able to understand. Okay, it says what's the error? I've passed the values, right? And it says the column does not match value, but I have passed the columns. Let me check this, guys. Give me. Are we entering anything here? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are entering the values. We are saying this, and it says column does not match. Just a minute, guys. Oh, sorry. Now, again, we are passing the values, right? My bad. Okay, we are saying these particular columns are there and you are not adding here. Now, for that, we need to pass, right? Now again, the SQL is not able to understand that. Okay, now you are saying null because you added insert into this. You are passing. We have now you're saying for table we have this structure, and but you are not giving here any value. Now it is not able to understand. Okay, now once you run this, now you'll be able to. Okay, now if for the same thing, I just need to enter only 3 records at this time. And now what will happen if you run this test? Will it insert?
I think yes.
It will insert? Anyone?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Let's see. Now what is error it is showing? Column count again does not match. Why it is saying column count? We have five data row, 5 records are there already in the table, and we are saying last 2 columns you make it as null. But it says column value column count does not match. Why?
We didn't mention the column in insert into.
Yes, exactly. Now this is another type of error whenever we'll be inserting, right? We'll get. So whatever your structure you are defining while insert into, SQL will always take care of that. If you don't define that, then only it will go and see the actual structure. But you are saying for now I need to only insert these column values. But again you are saying extra data you are passing. Now it is not able to identify for which column I need to put this null. Did you get this point, guys?
Yes.
Now again, when we go and insert, now it is being now automatically for these particular records at the end, we have that as null. Okay. Any doubts so far for inserting data?
No.
Now, who are new to SQL? Who are new to SQL? Can anyone add?
Yes, I'm new.
What's your name? Sorry.
Krishna.
Krishna. Okay. Krishna. Now we have done so much code from start to here. Okay. We created our database, we created our table, we added our data, we read our data. Was it difficult to do?
No. Need
Were
some
you able to
practice.
understand this?
Yes,
The
I
code?
understand.
That's the reason whenever you are working with data, any data, SQL is very easy to work. Okay. Now it's just a simple commands you need to use and just you need to play around. Now this is just a trailer. Okay. Future we might need to write a complex query, but compared to other programming language, SQL is far easier than other. Okay. Now if you wanted to write this, insert the same particular table, if you want to write this, create a particular table using Python, you need to write first, you need to connect the, from Python, you need to connect to SQL database. You need to pass the configurations. So what is the login details? What are the things? And you need to define a particular set of code. You need to create a logic, and inside that logic, you need to pass this query. Okay. Now you're doing with just a piece of 4 to 5 line code. That will come up to 10 to 15 lines of code. Okay. To just create a table. Now again, to create, once you create that, you need to put the to enter all this data. Again, you need to write a piece of code. That will be very difficult to work around with the databases whenever you go with the other programming language. Okay. That's the reason SQL is the one where we will always go whenever we'll go and play around with SQL. It's the data. Okay. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. Now we saw insert. Okay, we have inserted a data. Okay. Now my requirement is wherever there is a ID 101 we have taken for iPhone. Now let's take it as iPhone 15. Okay. Now the company says, okay, I'm going to give a sale. In sale, I'm going to give this particular product for 30,000. We'll go and insert the data again like this in database. Okay,
No.
I see some command. Okay, go to insert 1 million data. Same. To insert again 1 million data, we'll be writing the same things. Okay, whatever we wrote these 4 lines of code, right? We need to insert that. And if you have anything in the Excel sheet or anything, there is something called as import in this. We'll see that whenever we'll be working around the data in the future. If that is in data, we can, once the structure is there, we can just go here and say, there is somewhere here, I need to check that. We'll say and say import that data, and we'll just give the configurations or what are the column details, it will go and import. Okay, that we'll see how to insert a large set of data. Now, for now, we'll just see how to insert a data. Are we good? Who asked that question? Gauri, are we good?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Now, is it a good way to do like this? Go and add.
No.
Now next, after the sale, the iPhone company may come and say, no, now my sale is over. Please make it as again 70,000. Again and again, will you go and update this? Insert the data. No, right? For that, update command comes into the picture. Now again, what we are doing, we are manipulating the data. Okay. Now we say instead of doing this, let's delete, and we say wherever there is PID equal to 101. Okay. I say wherever there is PID equal to 101, or else product name is equal to 105, or product name is equal to iPhone. You go and update my value to 30,000. We write a command saying this. Now using this, whenever you write a command and you're saying where condition, what is this? Where is nothing but a clause. What are clause? We'll say you will give a set of instructions. Okay, we give a set of instruction to the any commands or any syntax saying wherever the data is this particular data or particular column matches with this particular data, you are going to do an update. Okay, we use a where clause. For insert, can we use a where clause? Can we go and say wherever the column is there and go insert? We can't do that. Because for insert, this always structure first, and whatever the data that need to be entered, that will be. This only comes into the picture when you are manipulating the existing data. Where clause will come into the picture. Okay, now let's go and see how to update the record. Sorry. Okay, any doubts, guys? Okay, now to update the record, it's very simple. You say update. What is our table name? Table name. Okay, now which column you need to update? In this particular data, I need to update. What I need to update? Price. Price I need to update, right? I say I need to update price. I say price. You make it what? You make it as 30,000. Okay. Your update table make price as 30,000. Where? Sorry, update table. I need update table price as 30,000. Where? What? PID equal to 101. It is coming as error is position. Okay, set, right? Okay. Now you're saying update table and you're saying set. Okay. You need to make set. Okay, you're saying update this particular table. And you're saying this particular price you set to this value. Okay. You're saying for in this table we have a column called as price, and we are saying that set that particular value to 30,000 wherever I have the column ID is equivalent to 101. Now let me do one thing. I don't want to go with many columns. 304 I have. Let's take a unique value. Okay. Let us take only 104. Okay. Wherever there is a ID 104. Okay. Wherever there is ID PID 104. Now for earphone, let's make it as 2000. 3000. We'll give 1000 discount. It will make it as 3000. Now when we run this particular set of command, it is throwing you an error. Why? Anyone? Okay. Now what happening here is MySQL, inside MySQL there is a settings. Okay. Whenever you will be writing your first update delete commands, it will say it will come and say it will go in a safe mode. Okay. It says, hey, are you sure whatever you are doing, are you doing correct? Okay. Are you updating? It might affect your table. Are you sure you want to do this? It will come and say. Now this is a by default. It's given by MySQL. Now you need to make it off. So for that, you say just set SQL safe. I think SQL safe updates, I guess. Yep. SQL safe updates equal to 0. What you are saying, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, changing my data. I know that. Now you no need to worry about that. You just make unset this and make that as 0. When you do unset as 0, now it is not making any issues for you. Now you can go and directly update your. This is only there in MySQL, okay? For your safety purpose, they have given that. Okay? Whenever you're trying to do update and delete, please set it to 0 and then start work. Okay? Now, what do you say? Now, update has done. We have what? We have affected. One row is affected. Now, let's go and see this particular data. And when we see that particular data, wherever there is 104, wherever there was earphone, it came into 3000. Are we good, guys? Any doubt in this?
So whenever we are updating, we only go through like a product ID or otherwise a product name or price.
Anything. Now let's take a product name. Okay. Now, same thing I will say for product name, any column can take a product POD underscore name and you say earphone. Sorry, let's take iPhone. iPhone 15 or 14. 14. Okay. For that, we are saying let's do it as 30,000. Now, what it does, now whatever the where condition you are giving column, right? That column it will go and it will check back. Okay. Wherever it will, now there is a product name 14, wherever iPhone 14, there how many records we have? Okay, only one record we have for particular iPhone 14. Now, when you run this, wherever there is iPhone 14 in your in your table, it will go and update. Now you can see it is updated to what? 30,000. Main thing is this. Okay. Now I have one more thing. Now what happened? Let's take 101. Okay. Now wherever I have 101, please update it to say 40,000. Okay. Now how many number of records we have in 101? Let me zoom this. Okay. We have 101, 101, 101, 101. Now you're saying, going and saying update wherever there is 101. Now, for example, I just needed to update for this particular value, but there is no differentiation. Now we have entered a multiple duplicate values, right? So there is no difference. But whenever we say go and update wherever there is PID, like PID is 101, it goes and changes to 8 rows. Now 8 rows are affected. Why? Because it has gone and updated wherever there is 101. For all the columns, it has updated 3000. You got it? Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Now I remove this. And I say, set price 0 for all, or 10 rupees. Now what is going to happen? Now company says, now let's take an example, okay? Now, whatever electronic company, let's say a earphone company, right? Whatever, where is that earphone company? Now this 104 company, earphone company, it says, now I'm giving a sale, I'm giving a flash sale. Whenever my sale is there, I just want to give away all the items. I say I'm giving this flash sale for item for 10 rupees. You go and update in your database. You are a developer and you are saying you're taking care of all this, and there's a big billion day coming tomorrow, and they say I'm doing a flash sale, and today is Friday, tomorrow Saturday, Sunday is a big billion day, will be on off, and you say today you need to go to your hometown, there is a function, there is a festival, Dasra or Deepavali, you're going, and I need to update, I need to catch a bus or train that is there in 5 minutes, and your manager comes and says this particular company need to have this flash sale, just go and update this and you go away, go to your vacation, no issues. Now your big billion day sale is in 1 hour and you in hurry, what you are doing? You're just going and updating this. You updated and you went away. What will happen now? Did you get any error? No.
All the records will updated with price table.
All records got updated with price. Now you are getting iPhone for 10 rupees. What you will do? Will you ignore it as a common people? You're getting
No,
for 10
I'll buy
rupees.
10 iPhones.
Now imagine in iPhone sale, for this particular sale, iPhone want to sell their 2 million products. Okay, they want to sell all 2 million products in big billion day. And what you have done for all these products, you have sold that for updated for 10 rupees. Now who will give this money to iPhone? Huh? You are updated for 10 rupees. Okay. Now you're selling 2 million products of iPhone for 10 rupees. As a company, Amazon will pay. Will go and pay. Now for okay. Now you took only for 2 rupees iPhone. Now you have total all the companies you have in your Amazon sale. Almost you are getting 50,000 companies. Okay, 50,000 companies are coming, and you are updated for all that 10 rupees. Okay, for this particular Amazon sale, now Amazon was planning to say to $10 billion of sale. Okay, dollars of sale you are doing, and you have drastically reduced that to, say, if you all the items have sold and you're getting, say, $10,000 as a sale. Now, who is affected here? Is company affected? Is Amazon is the one who is affected? Is a companies who are selling their products in Amazon, that those are, though they're affected? Who are affected here? Each and every person is who is selling their products, and even Amazon is affected. So always make sure whenever you are running, we run update statements. Always what we have to do? We have to check the where clause. Now, as an employee, will the Amazon keep you in the company if you run all and make it as 10 rupees? No, right?
No, they will kick us.
That's okay. Any doubts? Why where clause is important while updating any particular record in the table? Did you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let us finish it off. Delete also. Now we see in insert, we saw update, and we saw create. Okay, and we saw drop. Now what is delete? Okay, now this particular company, it went bankrupt. Now whoever is selling this earphone, they say, okay, now I'm bankrupt, I can't sell any more product. You please remove that particular data. Okay, I need to remove this. To do that, again we have a command, something called as delete. Okay, now I say delete from. Where are you deleting? You're deleting from table. Okay. Where? Now what I need to do? Where I need to delete? Wherever there is a earphone, right? Which is that product name, right? Product name is equal to, where is that earphone? Let me copy this. Okay. Now what I'm saying, from this table, from the table, wherever there is a name for as earphone, you please go and delete it. Now what it says, one row is up. Now once you go and see, is that any data there in your table? No, right? You have deleted that particular data. Okay. Now, again, if I do the same thing, now you are a developer. Now you're going for your hometown on the occasion of festival. Now your manager comes and says, this particular company has gone bankrupt. You please delete this particular record, and you go. And in hurry, you forgot to add this, and you say, delete from this particular table, go and delete it. Now what happens? What's the difference between these two? What happens?
Table will delete it, sir.
All the records from your table is deleted. Now again, Amazon is planning for big billion days. Now it has planned for 10 million billion records. Now how much sale? Now how much sale did they do? Huh? How much sale? $0. Apart from this, what are the issues Amazon need to face? Amazon again need to go back and add all this information in their tables. Okay. Now we saw about 50,000 companies we took as an example. Just imagine for this particular one company is having 2 million records, that 2 million stocks, 2 different million records of stocks that need to sell, that different price amount they have added. And for each 50,000, if you consider at least 10,000 different products, you imagine how much. What is the value of 50,000 into 10,000? Each company is having 10,000 products. Let's take 1,000 products. Okay, each company is having. What's the value of this, guys? Anyone? 0, 0, 0, 0. What is this? 50 lakh records. Amazon need to go and add 50 lakh records, and they need to work with 50,000 different companies to understand what all the records, what all the data need to know, they need to do, and can they do in 1 hour? Huh? We have a sale in 1 hour. Can they do in 1 hour? No, right? And whatever these 50,000 companies have planned, okay, they plan for some profit for this particular sale. Now they are also in trouble. Now who will lose the job? For doing this particular thing? As a developer, you are going to lose it. Okay. Again, whenever you are doing what? Update statement. Or whenever you are doing what? Delete statement. Whenever you are doing update statement, whenever you are doing delete statement, where clause is very important. Always we have to check the where clause. Now, we saw update, we saw delete. Which is more critical in this? Is update is more critical or delete is more critical? Huh? Anyone guys? Which is more critical here?
Both.
Update is more critical operation, or whatever the data manipulation you're doing, delete is more critical.
Delete is more critical.
Delete is more critical, right? That's the reason most of the company will not give access for deleting the records. Okay, most of the companies I'm saying, because there might be few companies which are small scale and they will be having all the access, but most of the companies, they make sure you have not given any delete. Okay, not giving any delete command. How they are giving that things we'll see, but for now you just understand most of the companies are not going to give you a delete command access. Okay, now I have a pro tip for you. Okay, just let me add. Now you have this data. Okay, now whenever you are going to delete or update anything, right, from the table, always do this. Okay, always what you have to do, select star from this table. Now first you need to do this and fetch that data, and once you fetch that data, now you need to delete, then go and delete. Okay, in this way you'll be always, if you have been asked to do delete or anything, will be always even same thing. Now I need to update for iPhone, right? You take this. Okay. Now I need to update for this iPhone. Always go and do what? Select star from this particular iPhone. You do this, and once you do that, once you select this, oh, is there no product iPhone? Let me see. There is no 15. Okay, there is no 14. Okay, once you get this particular item, then you go and say up. You just remove this and say update this table, and then say set this price. And Now it gets updated, and then you can go and check your table. Where is that table? Okay. Now it is been updated. Got it, guys?
Can you show me 1 second?
So whenever you're going to do anything, right? For example, let me take a delete statement. Now you want to delete any particular record. First, you always go and do select star. Okay. Now, if you don't add this particular where condition in select, let me remove this. Okay. Now you're just saying select star from this table. You're getting all the records. Okay. Now I want only the records which are where product name is not, there is no earphone, right? We have deleted. Let us take where product name is iPhone. Now again, we can pass where clause here. We're saying you select from this particular table where product name is this iPhone. Now you first select this. Now you got the value. Now you want to delete this. Then you go and say delete. Now that one particular record is deleted. Did you understand now?
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Sure. That's it for today's class, guys. Today was the last demo class. From tomorrow, we'll be having our paid classes. So if you have any doubts, please reach out to Mahesh how to do the payment, and you can connect with Mahesh. Let me add. Okay, you can connect with Mahesh. He'll guide you for the payments and whatever we need to do, and whatever therefore. If you have any other doubt, you can join this WhatsApp group also, and there are admins, they will help you out for the paid class. Okay, any doubts with the course or anything, who have joined today's first class, or if they have any doubts, please let me know. I'll help you out.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, I have only one doubt.
Mhm.
In a database, I have to change the table name.
Sorry.
Can I change?
Yeah, we'll see that too. We'll see. We can do that. We need to do alter commands. Today we saw only DML commands, that how to update, insert, and delete the records. Tomorrow we'll be going and seeing how to alter the table names, and if how to add all the data from existing table you have. Then we need to add the same data into another table. We'll see all these things. Okay, we can do that.
Same
Any doubts, guys?
schema name also.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
Can I change the schema name also?
Data in MySQL schema and database are same. And as I said, right, for database, I explained in starting, we can't rename schema or database. Okay, we need to drop it and we need to recreate. Schema level, it is not allowed in MySQL.
Thank you.
Yep. Any doubts, guys? Were you able to understand how to insert a data, update a data, delete a data, or to create a table? Now, as your first assignment who are new to MySQL, all you need to do is whatever we have explained today, we need to recreate that, because this is a simple thing. So we don't want to give any assignment for that. Who are new to MySQL, please go and watch the video again and try to do all the activities which we have done without seeing the video. If you are struck, then go and see the video and understand that. Okay.
So can we get the course description?
Okay, let me share my screen. I think we have that's already there. It's already there in the website, but let me show that out.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now here we are. Sorry, I can show you. So what we are doing is we have just started with SQL now. The first two classes we understood what is data engineer, what all data engineers do. So what is data, how much data is important, and we just started with the database. What is database? What is OLTP system and all. Today we got started with MySQL. This is the first, you can consider this is the very first class where we are starting coding. Okay. Now once we finish MySQL, we'll be doing Snowflake. Now these are all the things we'll be doing. We'll be doing starting with the DDL, DML commands. Then we'll do constraint, joins, and advanced topics like subqueries, CTEs, index, whatever PL SQL you required, we will do that. This will go up to 10 to 15 classes, 15 to 20 classes. Now, once we finish that, then we'll be entering into Snowflake. We'll do end-to-end Snowflake for at least minimum 25 classes, each class being 1.5 hours. It will go up to 35 to 40 hours. Okay. Once we finish our SQL, then we will see if you want, we can start with Python and Snowpark, or if you don't want that, we need to start with Matillion. We'll have a discussion at that time, and then we'll start with Matillion and DBT. We'll finish one round of projects, and then we can go ahead and we can do Python and Snowpark at that time. But if not, we'll be doing Python. We'll be learning whatever the Python is required for data engineer as a Snowflake developer. Once we finish the Python, and we'll be learning Snowpark. Snowpark is nothing but writing your Spark code inside the Snowflake. We'll be learning that. Okay, it's far more easier than what you will be doing in Databricks, because here you no need to worry about the backend. You no need to worry about the distributed system. Here it is not a distributed system. It is straightforward. Whatever code you write, whatever writing in PySpark or Databricks, it will convert into a SQL and it is executed. How that happens, we'll see that. Okay. Once we see all that, we'll be doing DBT. DBT is a ELT tool. Okay. Once we finish that, we'll be having two projects. One is end-to-end project, Apollo Healthcare. We will go for 6 to 8 hours. We'll be doing we'll be extracting data from MySQL, and we'll be bringing that into Snowflake, and we'll be doing data modeling also. And there will be another project where we'll be mainly using Snowflake with DBT. These are the two mandatory products we are doing. And few folks also asked, after the end of AWS, we need one project on AWS. So we'll be doing once as soon as we finish AWS integrating it with Snowflake. We'll do that also. This is the syllabus.
So what's the course fee for this?
Okay, let me share this. We have 4 to 4.5 months is the duration. Classes will be 7 to 8:30 morning, Monday to Friday, and projects and all will be doing on the weekends, because it will go to 4-5 hours. So mainly we'll concentrate projects or any mini projects on weekends. And the fees is, if you're paying 27,000 for 3 installments, and if you pay 2 installments, that is 26,000 for 2 installment. And if you're going to pay in one go, it is 25K in one installment. Apart from teaching, KSR team will also help you in building your resume, your LinkedIn post, mock interviews, whatever you require will help you with that. There will be a placement assistant that will be going every day. So whatever issues you have for placement, that will be help from KSR. And if there are any openings that are there in the old previous students, they need referral, we'll be referring our student part. That's the other thing which KSR team will be taking care. Any doubts? Are we good?
Thank you.
Sure. So we'll meet tomorrow then. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye.